Yoke around the neck of justice.
I mean, you're saying abolish the entire state bar?
Absolutely. It's a criminal organization.
Well, you know, based on what I've seen in California and what I've seen in Nevada and New Jersey, and I was at a New Jersey, I would call it a freak show, where they made somebody I think it was a Superior Court judge or a Supreme Court judge in New Jersey, and there were mobsters in the room applauding.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, real mobsters, guys at the FBI had put their brothers and their uncles and everybody in jail, and here were their mothers and sisters applauding this guy being appointed to the Supreme Court in New Jersey. And I taped that thing. Afterwards, I was told by one of the mobsters, I hope you weren't looking too close and focusing on anybody in the crowd.
Of course not.
Could we have your tape? I said, no. Well, that's a whole other story. I won't go into that.
Well, this organization, the Oregon State Bar, makes the mafia look like a kid selling lemonade.
You got to say that again slowly.
I said the Oregon State Bar, the criminal organization, makes the mafia look like they're selling Kool-Aid or lemonade.
So the mafia, the people that kill people...
They should have had it so good.
Yeah, the people that kill people, sell drugs, are into prostitution, are now apparently into selling children, which they get from Child Protective Services out of Oregon.
Right.
But that's a whole other story we don't have time to go into right now. You're saying these are like selling Kool-Aid. The mafia is like Kool-Aid compared to the Oregon State Bar.
It's a lemonade stand. It's a lemonade stand compared to these guys.
Maybe we should declare war against the Oregon State Bar.
We should declare war over every bar that protects the thieving attorneys and the lying attorneys and the ones who, they're committing crimes, and the Oregon State Bar is protecting them. So it's a protection racket. It's a protection racket. Bruce Rubin, who is a counsel for the Oregon State Bar, said recently in court there are 12,000 attorneys in Oregon. They pay $300 a month, which is $3,600 a year, which makes it a $43 million a year business, and they never pay out anything to any attorney who harms anyone, ever.
You've documented that.
Oh, yes. I can add and subtract, and that's what it comes to. 12,000, he said they were. Well,
I spoke to a Mr. Eric Rhodes up there in your neck of the woods of Oregon, and he said the same thing. They've now disbarred his attorney that won a judgment, was supposed to give him half or something like that, and he just kept it all.
Basically.
And the worst that happened is they disbarred him. He still got to keep all the money he stole.
They're still deliberating whether or not they're going to disbar him. The Supreme Court disbarred him. The Oregon State Bar didn't. The Supreme Court disbarred him.
It sounds like they're going to do it, though.
Well, the Supreme Court disbarred him, but the Oregon State Bar is still deciding, and they're going to take a year to decide what they're going to do.
Well, we'll see, because I called the Oregon State Bar, and they simply said to me, we're not discussing it at this time.
Of course not.
And I'm thinking, when are you going to discuss it? I mean, he's already laid all the facts in the court. The court is convinced he's a crook. The Supreme Court has said, you can't practice law here.
Yeah, he's done.
He's done it.
But he's going to move to California, Idaho, and set up shop again.
They have found that he didn't just rob Rhodes. It was 19 of his clients.
19 of his 20 clients got royally ripped off.
He had ripped
off. And the 20th we don't know about because you can't find them.
And the last one with Mr. Rhodes involved a trustee. Mr. Rhodes filed bankruptcy. He got a settlement from the accident that he had to pay off the medical bills. The trustee gave the attorney $40,000 and discharged all of the medical bills. So the trustee, the attorney, walked off with $40,000. It doesn't belong to him.
And none of the medical
What
bills.
Nice people, I mean, and did it with a straight face and calls himself an honorable attorney, right? A member of the bar, or at least he will be for a few months more.
It's almost unbelievable, unless when you're living it, you got to believe it because you're going through it. And people won't, that's why I'm doing my books. You got to read, you got to see the documents and you'll know.
I've seen the documents. I mean, we can't show the audience, but I'm telling you people, this book is over 2 inches thick. And this isn't everything.
It's 930 pages.
900 plus pages. And she's got photographs, court documents, testimony, clippings from various people, but mostly documents.
That's right.
Mostly official documents from Allstate Insurance Company. I mean, just all kinds of documents.
My limousine that they stole, my RV that they stole.
If my name was in that book right now, I would have sold everything I got in Oregon, left the state, gone to a small island in the South Pacific, and just hope you never find me.
Oh, they're never going to do that.
They're so arrogant, aren't they?
I don't think any island's going to want them. Even the animals on it will kick them off.
Yeah, I heard
No,
Mr. Muck. I like the way you
Grass
say
Muck.
ran amok.
Yep, he did.
That's
Gone
a play,
amok.
play on the spelling of a certain person, isn't it?
Right, absolutely. I hope he catches on. He doesn't spell his name that way either.
Do you think?
But I do.
Do you think he? Do you think he's seen your book yet?
I know he's seen your shows.
A lot of people in Oregon are watching my YouTube clips.
They
aren't
are, because everyone up there is afraid to touch it. So you are a very brave man.
Well, I'm not dead yet.
I know, neither am I. Neither is Dee.
They tried.
They tried twice.
3 times.
Tell us
Actually,
how they
3
tried
times.
to kill you. Tell us how they tried to kill you.
I had an attorney that I met at the Hollywood Senior Center, which is the senior centers for senior people.
In which city?
And in Portland, Oregon, the Hollywood, in the area where all my houses were that they stole. And I went to see a young man there who said he tried to find a lawyer to help me. And a week later, he called me. He had someone he wanted me to see, but I didn't answer the phone that day. However, that day a phone call went into the federal marshals telling them that I just bought a gun and had threatened the judge, the trustee, and the attorney. Now, neither one of them is worth a bullet, so there's no chance I'd do that. Then the next day, I did answer the phone, and he called me to this appointment that he'd set up. And so I went there, and I was there about 3 minutes, and all of a sudden there were police coming in the door. "Are you Miriam Krause?" And I said, "Well, yes, I am." And he said, "You have a problem here?" I says, "Well, not that I know of." I was sitting on a chair talking to this young attorney who made the appointment for me, waiting for the one I was supposed to see on the phone. I'm wondering who he was talking to on the phone after a while.
Right.
And so the policeman said, "Well, we had a complaint that you were knocking on someone's door and threatening them with a gun." I said, "Well, that'd be a little hard to do because I don't have a gun, never owned a gun, don't want a gun." And so he said, "Well, will you come outside and talk to us?" And I said, "No, I won't." I said, "Anything you have to say, you can say right here." And he said, "Do you want everyone to know all your business?" And I said, "I have no secrets from anyone." And I was in a room with total strangers, almost even Mr. Malcolm, David Malcolm.
And an attorney.
And he was an attorney, a young attorney, right. And he offered to meet me there and carry my things up because I wasn't feeling that great, you know. And so it boiled down to that they left, kind of looked at each other dumbfounded when they knew they'd been told a story. But anyway, it was a false 911 call.
That's a felony. I
That
think.
was done, and I asked who did this. Well, they weren't going to tell me at first. Then they came back in and they said, "Well, it was Grassmuck." And I said,
Not the same Grassmuck, the honorable good
Oh.
old this Grassmuck?
"Oh, of course not." Of course not. So anyway, I called the dispatcher about a week later. I wrote the details all down that night. And I called the dispatcher and I said, "I thought making false 911 calls was a crime." And she said, "Well, it is." I said, "Well, I want to press charges." "Okay, I'll send a car." She sent a car. They wouldn't take a complaint. A little bit later, I called again. They came out. They still wouldn't take a complaint. First time it was 2 uniformed policemen. The second time it was 1 uniformed policeman and someone dressed in, more like casual clothes.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, man, what's so serious? What's wrong? Why won't they take a report? Well, I learned it was all part of the setup of the scheme to work with them to help get rid of me. So basically, I called it attempted murder.
So they were hoping you would have a frunkus with the police.
I was standing outside,
you would
maybe.
get tasered, and maybe the tasering would kill you because
Or
you're,
shoot me. No,
you're,
just
you're,
plain
you're a little
shoot
bit
me.
past 32.
Just plain shoot me.
Or shoot
They
you,
weren't
yeah.
going to mess around.
Well, if she'd have reached for her purse, if she'd have been outside,
Oh,
and
yeah,
reached
if
for
she'd
her purse,
reached
they could
for
have
a
blown her
purse.
away because she could have had a gun in that
Could have
purse.
had a gun in the purse.
I was
so you did
inside.
the smart thing.